Push to talk. I should go voice active so I don't have to push to talk. Oopsies. We're gonna start the video with, some crap. We're gonna start the video with how not to start a video. So, hello everyone. Welcome again to another episode of The Strange Legend. I'm your host, Mr. Strange, and I am here with Law. Or are you still going by Law, or what's your Twitch name?
So yeah, law's good, yeah.
Law? Okay.
Yep.
And you're going to be able to, for those of you on YouTube, in the description below is going to be a link to his channel. You'll be able to click there, go hang out with him. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes, but it's still very much sort of being set up, I guess.
Okay. And we'll have a link to that as well in the description. Today's videos, today's video is the start of a many-week series, for lack of a better description. We're going to start by going through Unity and focusing on 2D game development. We're using a Clash. Clash. It's very similar to Clash, but with some more fighting. Anyways, we're using a class in Udemy to facilitate this. So you can check the descriptions below or ask in chat today if you really want to. For a link to the Udemy course, you can purchase it and follow along. But you can also download Unity for free, get all the software that you need, and follow along that way as well. That being said, I don't have much else to start with unless you can you think of anything we should go over first?
No, nothing comes to mind. No.
All right. So with that being the case, we're just gonna dive in. So the first thing you're gonna notice, I have two different scenes, and sometimes there's a little delay in going between the scenes. For some reason, not exactly sure why. It's not showing my display capture. How dare you? There we go. So the first scene is the one you're seeing now. This is going to be our coding scene. When we switch to this, it's so that you can get a good view of all the code that we're currently working with. Don't get intimidated by what's on there right now. That's just some code that I was playing around with before our video today. The other scene is over here, and let me get rid of this. This is going to be where you get to watch the video and the course that we're using to teach you. We're going to be pausing this video during it and explaining some of the concepts that they talk about, giving examples, all sorts of fun stuff. So it's going to be a good time. And I think rather than keep boring you with my endless narration, we're going to get started. So we're going to hit that play button and get going.
In this video, we're going to write our first line of code in Visual Studio. That's going to be print hello world. And then when we go into Unity and click play, in the console area of Unity, it will print hello world. This is a small but very significant step in making sure that our environment is set up correctly and Unity and Visual Studio are working correctly together. Let's start by talking briefly about how Unity and Visual Studio relate to one another. So Unity is our game engine. This is where we say what the behaviors are in our game and how all the pieces relate to one another and how it all looks and how it all shapes up and comes together. One of the pieces that we use in Unity is our code, and our code is written in files that are .cs files. These are also called scripts, and they're a bunch of text that say what are the rules and behaviors of the things that we want to have happen in our game. And the place that we write these scripts is in Visual Studio.
I do want to pause real quick for everybody. Are you following along, Law, or how are you hearing the video?
So I'm watching it through your stream.
Okay, that works. Okay, so one thing I want to note really quick is he mentioned scripts. And some of you are going to be like, yeah, I know what a script is. But for those who don't, it's what he's talking about here. It's your code for the game, the game that you're working on. But it also relates to many, many other things as well. Scripts are used in modding a lot of the time, and it's pretty much the same thing as in Unity, but dealing with other engines or other types of coding. Some people will refer to Lua, Lua, as scripting as well, and that's at least in my opinion, it's a valid way of describing it. So don't be confused when people talk about scripting and it's not relating to Unity. Know that it's all code, and it's just different ways of coding and different ways of modifying whatever it is you're interacting with. So anything to add, Law?
No, like literally, it's funny that you mentioned this because only a couple of days ago I was thinking about like what I consider scripting, and in the earlier years when I was programming, I always thought scripting was like the non-object oriented programming, so like the Lua, the
Mm-mm.
Python, PHP, those kind of things. But like you said, it's all just code really. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So and Law touched on something just then, object oriented coding. Don't get hung up on that. That's something you're going to learn about during this series, okay? So keep that in the back of your mind. Don't stress about it now. And we're going to continue.
Visual Studio is an IDE, that's an integrated developer environment, and it gives us a whole lot of structure and tools to make our life easier and to avoid making mistakes. So if you're a Mac user, this is a good time to point out that there's really not a lot of differences between Mac and PC when it comes to Unity and Visual Studio, but in the next video, Ben is going to go through those differences so it's really clear what you're looking at and how it relates and how it differs from what we're seeing on the PC. So let's go ahead and create our first script and use Visual Studio to make a little bit of magic in Unity. So let's open up Unity Hub. For you, after you downloaded it, it might have a shortcut on your desktop, or you might need to navigate to it through your program menu. When you open that up, you can see I've got a bunch of projects in here. If this is the first time you're using Hub, then yours is probably empty. And you want to make sure that under installs, you've got 2018 or later ready to go. So from any of these tabs up here, click on New, and that will allow us to create a new project, and it's going to ask us where we want to save that. Let me just show you my directory here where I've put that, and then we can see exactly what's going on in here. So for me, I've created under my D drive, so just any of your drives, so I've got a D drive here, I've created a folder called repos, which is short for the terminology repositories, which is something that'll be relevant later on in the course when we look at source control. And then within repos, I've created Unity 2D, which is where all of the projects from this course are going to go. And the first section we're working on is intro setup. So I encourage you to do a similar structure, have a repos directory with our Unity 2D course, and then for this particular section, it's intro and setup, ready and raring there. So when we go into start our new project, we click on the three little dots to the right of location down here, and that will allow us to go and choose where we want to set that up. Go to data, or data, depending upon where you're from, repos, and then Unity 2D, and then intro setup. So I'm going to just click on that once, and select project, and that will use that as our project location. Now, it's really important to know that a Unity project is a folder with a set of directories and a set of files within inside it. When we start a project, it's not just one file, it's a whole bunch of files. We're going to call the project name here, we'll call this Hello World, as all good programming first steps should be, a Hello World. And under template, we're going to select 2D, and then click Create Project. There might be a little bit of loading, a little bit of setup, a little bit of importing.
Real quick, we're going to pause there. One thing I do want to stress to everyone at this point is organization of your files is key to creating a game that makes sense, is easy to uninstall, is organized, is easy to code. Because when you have all of the things that you need to call within your code in one area, it can get problematic, and finding things becomes a problem. So it's a really good idea to have a good organization system, keeping your art assets in one folder, keeping your code, your scripts, your code in another folder, all within a folder for your project. And so you keep everything together but organized within.
definitely, yeah.
Particularly if it's the first time. So bear with that. It should do all of that automatically, and then we will be into the engine. Okay, so that started up our project. Let's just have a quick look in our directory to see what happened there under intro setup. we now have a Hello World folder. I've got a couple of other things in here that you won't have yet because I've put them in, but the important thing is to see that we've got a Hello World. Within that, there's a whole bunch of folders that Unity's created for us, including the Assets folder, and that's where all of our information, all of our game assets and artwork and scripts, everything is going to go into Assets, so that's been created for us. If your layout looks different to mine, you can come up to the top right here where it says Layout, click on that button and find Default. When you click on Default, that should default everything back to the default Windows layout, so it should look the same as what I have here. So from anywhere down in this Assets area down here, right-click, go up to Create, and then find C# script. Click on that.
Real quick, thank you, Smiths, for that follow, and welcome to the Strange Legends.
And you'll see it creates a script. Now, important message, we want to start typing straight away the name of our script. Don't click anywhere else and don't hit enter, because if you do that, you'll accidentally create this file with the default name. And if we create it with the default name, when we go and rename it in a moment, it will cause some issues and some errors. So you want to make sure that while the script name is still highlighted and blue, that you start typing straight away. We're going to change the name of this to Hello World. No.
All right, real quick. You noticed he mentioned that if you don't name it right away, it's going to cause a problem, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to create that problem, and I'm going to show you exactly what he's talking about. So let's switch over. Control 3, I believe. Let's make sure that was right. Yep. Switch over. He said right click. We're going to go to Create. And we want a C# script. Okay. Now he's saying you should type the name of your script right away, and you should. But in case you don't, we're gonna show you how to fix it.
I was going to say it's not a permanent issue if you don't do it. If you don't do that. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all we need to do is just go in here. What in the world? I forgot to do this step before the stream. Oh no. Not now. Maybe later. Ha ha. What do you think? Dark? I like dark. Let's go with dark.
Yeah. Definitely.
Normally, I do all my coding in Notepad++ because I like doing things the hard way. But Visual Studio comes with Unity, okay? So you're not paying for any extra software. And it's a much easier way of coding. I have to admit that. As much as I use Notepad, this is a much easier way. Always dark mode. Yes, always dark mode. All right. So now, as we go in here, you're going to notice that it says right up here, public class new behavior script mono behavior, right? So what we're trying to do is rename that script. And so we can rename it right here, which is fine. So in here, we're naming it Hello World. And we're doing it camel. What is it called? Camel humping, or I forget. Is it camel? Camel something. Camel script.
Oh, camel case.
Camel case. Yeah. So this is called camel case. I call it camel humping because nobody ever forgets it the first time you say, this is called camel humping. Oh, wait, I mean camel case. Anyway, so the first thing we need to do is actually close this and reopen it with that file, because when you change the name of a file, you're actually changing the file. And so it would have been like, hey, let's create this file again. So now what we need to change is right here. The new class behavior script, new behavior script. I think this is what we change. And so we change this to Hello World. And that's it. That big important message was for that 5-second fix. Then you save it. Make sure, this, I gotta stress this, and I know you're gonna laugh. Everyone, save your work. I know. Duh, Strange. What do you mean save your work? I mean save your work all the time. Every 5 seconds, and maybe not every 5 seconds, but get in the habit. Notice that there's this wonderful, wonderful Control S function. You see that? That's your not autosave. That's your oh crap, I'm gonna lose everything button if I don't hit it. So short. Short
can't count the
story.
amount of times. Yeah.
Let's both give a story. Okay, so my story is recent. I was in college, or I recently graduated college with a degree in hospitality management, and I was working on a project for criminal law, and this was a 16-page table of contents linked up crazy project about the bail reform in New York. And I'm like going along, going along, going along. I'm like, yes, I'm done. And I thought I saved it and I closed it, and it asked me, "Do you want to save it?" I'm like, I already saved it. Just close. And I closed it again, and lo and behold, I didn't save. Yeah. So that was about 30 hours of work, just poof, gone. What's your story, Law?
My story is not quite 30 hours worth of work, but so okay, so I've had mine's coding related actually. So like I've in the past, my memory's terrible, so I don't know the specifics of what I was working on, but I remember I had spent like pretty much most of the day doing all this code, and we're talking like probably hundreds of lines, maybe even breaching into like 1,000, maybe 2,000. I don't know. It's a
Hmm.
really coding intensive a day. But I didn't save, and like I've always had, I don't know why, but I've always been unlucky with my PCs. For some reason, they just crash a lot. But on this particular, my PC crashed.
Oh
And
no.
that wouldn't have been an issue if I'd been saving all the time, but I hadn't. And so I go back, I load up my code, and it's reverted back like to like sort of 7 hours ago, 8 hours ago. Oh, that was painful. So it's over the years I've built up a muscle memory to just control S, and I probably hit control S I don't know, like 50, 60 times a day. I've got a
Easily,
keyboard
yeah.
mapper. Yeah, I've got a keyboard mapper that tells me sort of what the most common keys are, and control S is right at the top.
So, and actually, we're gonna do a quick. This is gonna be really cool, actually. We're gonna do a quick tutorial on a program called Voice Attack. This is non-sponsored, just for the record. I don't get paid by these people. I just really love the program. So you can download a free trial, and the free trial has every functionality. It's just time limited. So there's no limited functions. It does everything that it has possible. But I'm going to show you this really cool thing that it can do. So on your screen, you should be seeing it. I think you're seeing it. Hold on. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Voice Attack right here, and you'll notice that it's picking up my voice and turning it into text. Some of it doesn't pick up, or it gets wrong, but it learns as you go. Your computer learns, and then the program uses your computer. But what we're going to do is we're going to go in here to our profile, and we're going to add a new command. And the command is going to be when I say save. Okay, and it's going to key press Control S and OK. Hit OK. Hit OK. Oops, actually, we need to go back in. So now, down here, we need to tell it where that's going to go. Is it the active window? Is it a different window? Where is it sending this command? So we can tell it, it'll automatically do active window. So if you don't do anything, it'll just automatically do active window. But in this case, we want it to be specific to Unity. So all we're going to do, or not Unity, but to, you know what? No, we want it on the active window because we're going to be saving in both Unity and in, yeah. So active window.
Yeah.
The recognition is normal, and command type is a full command. So because it's a one-word command. And we're going to execute, or not execute, we're going to hit OK. We're going to hit apply, and we're going to hit done. And now, to give you the example, we're going to go back to the other screen. Go in here, and save. And you'll notice when I said that, you got that little blue circle for a quick second. Save. Every time I do it, it recognizes the Are we on the right screen right now? I keep second guessing myself. All right, so it was on the wrong screen, but you get to see it. It recognized it. It sent the command, and then over here, it showed you the. All right, I'm hitting the wrong thing, I guess. Yeah, I'm hitting the wrong thing. Oops. There we go. All right, I figured it out. Too many new things in one day. So while we have this active, save. You notice the blue circle is spinning and it's like, hey, I'm saving. Chill, man. Chill. All right. That's it. Voice Attack's a great program. You can do a lot with it. You can have it play audio when you do things. For instance, deploy.
Okay.
It does audio, like in that case, it executed a command and did a voice response. It's just a sound file. Another good, fun one that I have, tea.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
I'm not a Trekkie, I swear. All right, enough. Let's get back to the action here. Action. There we go. All right, we're on the correct window again.
No spaces, and I've put capital H and capital W. And you know you've created your script correctly if the name underneath the script here matches the name we see over in the inspector. You can see public class hello world. So if it's hello world there and hello world under your script, success. We're ready to go. If they're different, Unity's going to be a bit upset and you'll need to delete your script and start that process again. So let's double click on hello world.
Hold on. Or do what we just illustrated. Open your script, change it in the behavior section, close it afterwards. So like I said, you just double click, open it. Where it says public class, you're going to change that to the title of your script, save it, done, and that fixes the issue as well. Okay? All right. Anything to add, Law?
No, that's it. That's yeah.
All right. Let's roll.
It'll open up Visual Studio. There might be a little bit of initial setup and initial loading. Okay, and there's a lot going on here. There's a few things we don't need. So I'm going to close over here my Solution Explorer, just X out on that. And my Team Explorer and Properties, all of those things we don't need at the moment, so I'm going to close that out. So the script that we created over here in Unity already comes with a bunch of text, a bunch of information on it. We're not going to go into the details of that yet. I promise you we'll get into all of that, and in no time you'll understand everything that's going on within here. But for now, we're just going to get our hands dirty by writing a line of code. So I want you to click on line number 9, click in there underneath start, where it says void start, and just follow along with me here. We're going to get our hand.
Real quick note for those of you following along, yours may start on line number 10. Okay? The line that he's pointing to is just between the squiggly brackets, as I call them, because I call them parentheses, and then the ones, let's go to the other screen here. Hold on. Here we go. So these parentheses, everybody knows them. But these, I call them squiggly brackets. I'm sure there's another name for them, but it's just too hilarious to say squiggly brackets over and over again. What do you call them, Law?
Same as you, squiggly brackets.
Squiggly brackets. And then there is a third one. Here is the third one. These are square brackets because, you know, they make a square when they're right next to each other. Is there any other brackets? I don't think there is. Well, I mean,
no.
You've got this thing, but it's not used in code. So that was more, ignore that, okay? But there you have it, okay? Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum. All right.
Wait, what was that?
What was that?
Yeah.
It was the line.
Oh, you mean the pipe?
Yeah, the
That's
pipe.
using code?
Yeah, it's the pipe. No, I said they're not used in code.
But it is.
It is? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
What is it used for?
It's or. You know when you do like an if statement.
Oh, yes. You're right. You're right. I always just write or. The program usually knows or as or instead of pipe. Anyways, all right, let's continue. I just wanted to point that out. So you might be starting on line 10. The important part is that it's in between the squiggly brackets. The only difference between his program and ours is that this squiggly bracket is here instead of on the line below. That's the only difference. So I'll leave it here like this so that you can see it as he has it. And then down here, this is what it would look like if you were using the default. Okay? And let's continue.
Hands dirty, write our first line of code. We're going to type print. And then after that, we're going to type open brackets or open parentheses. And then quotation mark. And you can see, because we're in our best friend of Visual Studio, it knows what we want to do. It's already given us a closed bracket and a closed quotation mark, and it's already giving us some information down here saying, hey, you might want to know this, and hey, this might be useful. This is great stuff. Over time, you'll recognize that, and you'll see it as fantastic. For now,
Okay, another note for everybody. We're going to switch back here. What in the world? Did that do what I wanted it to do? No, it didn't. That was weird. It's because I have that active. Oh man, that's gonna be a problem. We're gonna have to set up some voice commands for that. So anyways, over here you're gonna notice that when we did print, let's get rid of this. I did print, open exclamation. Wow, that's what just happened. Print open parenthesis. Notice that it didn't do what he was saying. So as we go through this, it didn't do what he was saying, but it has this over here. It's a little light bulb. So you have introduce local for print. You can use expressions. It gives you to it in a more collapsed way, so you're not getting bombarded with code as you go. So I haven't changed any of the through Unity, or did you start a new project through Virtual? We linked to it through Unity itself. So let me back up, and I'll show you exactly how we got to Visual Studio. But again, to finish this line of thought, you may not have suggestions because of this little light bulb to the left. So if you want a suggestion, click the light bulb or the paintbrush. It looks more like a paintbrush to me. Anyway.
It will be a light bulb when there is a suggestion, like when there's a code suggestion. Like
okay,
it switches.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So in this case, to answer your question, Streamsmiths asks, I think I missed a bit at the start. Did you link into VS through Unity, or did you start a new project through VS itself? We linked in through Unity, and so we started our project. We called it Hello World, or in this case, me and Law have a project set up for this, but you would call it Hello World. And then down here in the assets section, we right-clicked and we created a C# script. Okay? Name your C# script. So we're going to call this Hello World 2, just so that I can show you again. Hello World 2. And hit enter. And if you forget and you have to rename it, I'll go over that again too. So let's say that you messed up and it's the wrong name. When you go into the code, you'll fix it. So all you do to open it is double click. And now we have Hello World 2. If you messed up, you rename it inside of Unity, then open it, and then you change this bit here to what you named it. Okay? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, so let's go back. We're going to clean this up, get rid of the Hello World 2 script. Delete. Yeah, I'm sure. Shush. No problem. All right, and we're going to continue with the video.
Don't worry about all that information coming up. We're going to finish typing in here. We'll type hello world. And then down the end of our statement here, we need to type a semicolon. And you can see when we did that, the little squiggly red line went away. I'll do that one more time. When we've got no semicolon, there's a squiggly red line saying, and if you mouse over that, you can see semicolon expected. So this is our best buddy Visual Studio trying to help us out here, saying, I really think you should put a semicolon there. Yes, we do need to do one of those. Okay, then when I hit save, and you can see the little star that was up here went away, and we
Save.
have a green line that appears to say that we have saved our script. Now back over into Unity, this is the script we're working on. It's been saved. Now there's one last step we need to do. Our script just sitting on its own isn't doing anything. We need to bring it into our world by attaching it to a game object. And the only game object we've got is our camera. So if your sample scene has closed, you can click the little arrow next to it. That'll open it up to show all of the things in the hierarchy underneath sample scene. And you can see we have main camera. That's our game object, our only game object at the moment. So we're going to drag our Hello World script onto our main camera up the top here. We could have also dragged it over here into the inspector while we are selected on main camera. Either of those ways would have served the same purpose. You can see now, when clicked on main camera within the inspector, we've got our Hello World script there. If you come up to the top and click the play button and open up the console here, we haven't talked about the console yet. The console is what allows us to see the messages and the information, allows us to debug our game. It's a great place to print things out. You can see Hello World is written right in there. Success, we have created our first line of code. Now I have a challenge for you. What I would like you to do is to print hello your name. So to modify our Hello World code, instead of printing out Hello World, I'd like it to print out your name. And obviously, it wouldn't say your name, it would say Hello Rick, or Hello Fred, or Hello Bob, whatever your name might be. So pause the video now, go into the script, change from Hello World to Hello Your Name, save, and then go back into Unity and click play and see that it types Hello Your Name. And after you do that, come back to the video and play the video again, and I will show you my approach to doing that as well, and we can finish off this exercise together. So I'll see you in a moment.
Yes, we'll see him in a moment. All right. So let's head over, and I'm gonna make the inception of It really doesn't like. I really gotta set up a voice command for that. So I've run into a problem, and you might run into it at home too. I can't see the main camera. Our setup here looks a little bit different than theirs, and I'm not exactly sure why.
I do. I know why.
All right, elaborate. Teach us, oh great and lawful one.
So I'll be honest, I kind of take this for granted, but I've got a little Unity layout that I really like using.
Mhm.
And what I do is I have the hierarchy on the left-hand side like you've got, the inspector on the right-hand side like you've got,
Mhm.
but the center part of my screen is split into two. I've got the scene on the left and then the game on the right. So you should have a game tab along the top where you've got scene, game, asset store.
Yep.
So game is actually what the camera is seeing itself, and I have that next to scene separately so I can see them both at the same time.
Kind of like that.
Just waiting for the stream to...
Yeah.
Exactly like that, yeah.
Okay, but if you look at the video of what he's doing, he's got this like gray backdrop, and it shows the camera. Like when he clicks the camera, there's like a camera, but I can't see the camera.
I see what you're saying.
Isn't that weird? Now, there is another way to do this. You can attach a script to an object without being able to see the object. The click and drag, in my opinion, is kind of a crutch, but it's a good way to start. There is a way to do it otherwise, and I just need to find there's a spot in here somewhere. I think you can actually do it this way too.
What was it you're looking for?
The script class cannot be found. Make sure that there are no compile errors and the file name and class name match.
Yeah, there's a little error at the bottom that says the name print does not exist in the current context. That's print with a capital P, but it should be print with a lowercase p.
Gotcha. Save. Just because I don't trust it. All right. There you go. Let's try this again. Click, drag right on the main camera. Because the script class cannot be found, make sure that there are no compile errors and that the file name and class name match. Hello world. Hello world. Interesting. So, an easy way to troubleshoot this, because this was a fix that I was showing you guys. Let's see if this is still a problem. If I just get rid of the scripts, create a new one, and do it the way he was suggesting. Because theoretically, it shouldn't have had an issue. So, I know I pretty sure that, yeah, okay, we're gonna undo that. Okay, that works. Yeah, there's nothing different when you look at it. That's the interesting part here. So all we've done is we've created a new script and done it the way he suggested in the video. And it's identical. It's identical other than, I moved the bracket up. So theoretically,
That's really weird.
It's very weird. It's very, very weird. I'm not exactly sure what's happening here. This is why we do these videos, is because these are weird things that you might run into that would be very beneficial to see the fix. So my theory is that it's something to do with how this project was created.
Yeah, because looking at your stream, my version of Unity is different from yours, but it's worked for me, but not for you. So that's really weird.
Yours is different?
Yeah, so I got the 2018 one, but I think yours says 2019 at the top.
Yeah, that shouldn't matter, but let's go ahead. We're going to reopen Unity, reopen the project, see what happens. But this is exactly what, like the kind of things that I wanted to happen. We want these weird things that might happen to people so that we can be like, here, this is how you fix it. So this is our project, and all I had to do was click it. And the cool thing about Unity is you can set up teams, and that's what we've done, me and Law. And Law has set up this team and made me a manager, and I'm able to log into the project, download it to my system, and the changes that I make get uploaded to the cloud so that we can both download them to our computers. Excuse me. During this interlude, let's talk about a programmer's best friend, and that's coffee. Coffee, energy drinks, caffeine. Let's just call it caffeine. We're gonna pull up my webcam real quick so you can see this, everyone. This is my coffee mug. It's massive. Let me hold it next to my head. It's massive. Holds a pot of coffee. So now I'm going to point out something. You're going to notice it already looks different. All right. The project itself looks different. There's something like there was an error in the download. We still can't click and drag it onto there, which is a little weird. But you'll notice that the scene looks a lot different. The game side looks a lot different. It doesn't have that weird like horizon thing going on. You say that you can actually. All right, some scripts have compilation errors which may prevent obsolete API usages to get updated. All right. Hello world, model behavior, void start, print hello world, semicolon, close squiggly. That's all good. So I'm not 100%. You were able to click and drag it onto the camera, right?
Yes.
All right, but for some reason we aren't, which is interesting.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Ah! All right, let's get rid of my ugly mug. So somewhere in here is supposed to be a place to add the script through a text box. I mean, because here's the
Yeah.
way, because Unity is supposed to, when you have a 2018 project, use the 2018 style of Unity. So it's a little weird.
It's very odd.
Yeah. Because I should be able to just click, drag, release, because the script class cannot be found. But the class is Hello World.
I don't see anything that would stop it from working either. This is the weird thing.
Mm-hmm. So let's just back up to the very beginning again. Let's go ahead and delete this. Just get rid of it. I'm going to create a
You're gonna make like a blank
script.
script.
We're just going to do Hello World, right? Hit enter. And we're not going to do anything to it. We're just going to drag it onto it. And it's still telling me that class does not exist.
That's really weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. Let's look at the console.
I'm just loading up. I'm installing 2019 Unity now just to see if I get the same issue on 2019. Yeah. 300 errors. That would probably the difference between the 2018 and the 2019 version, where the project was created in 2018. But it's been loaded up in 2019. I think there's they probably made some changes to their background scripts that are in the engine itself, in the
It's
editor.
supposed to be backwards compatible. I mean, and this is just a basic. All right, let's test this then. We're gonna do a new project, and we'll just do this as a 2D project locally. All right, because we're gonna need some time to figure out this error. New folder, Unity. Oops. All right, inside here, we're gonna do a new folder called Hello World. And select that folder. And we're gonna call this Hello World. Wow. So yeah, there's a ton of errors inside the console. Most of those are from the previous open, though. Or no, those are all from that open. Weird. Why would it have so many errors comparing 2018 to 2019?
I have no idea. Like that's something that they shouldn't.
Unity is
exist,
supposed to be
you know?
backwards compatible. That's the weird part.
Exactly. And these are proper release builds of Unity as well. They're not like beta or alpha. These are live builds of Unity. So
Right.
they should be, that's pretty weird. Like if it was between two different alpha versions or something, then maybe you could understand it. But
Exactly. And you're able to choose a 2018 project when you create a project. You have to go into the advanced section to do it, but it's just very weird. So I mean, there's also another option. Doing this test, we might find out that my installation of Unity is corrupt.
I mean, I'd like to say that's not the case, but I've had that before as well.
Yeah, exactly. So doing this test will tell us whether it's my issue or whether it's Unity's issue. No. That other project, well, now I do. As soon as this opens, I'll make sure that I only have one project open. But the other script that you saw stream is, and for all of you on YouTube, Stream Smiths is asking, I could be wrong, but haven't you got another project open, not Hello World? What you saw was a script for a video game called Final Fantasy XI. I'm working with Law to change a script for a Lua script for Windower to work in a program called Ashita. So that's what that was. So now we do have two open. Let's go ahead and close this. Close this. And now we're going to keep this one open. Go ahead and see, now I have the camera available. See that? Like, I can actually see the camera symbol now. So I'm going to bet that this works. So I think that might be the issue. So let's do hello world. Okay, let's open our script. So, and print is literally just printing to the console, just for the record. So print, open, quotation, hello, Jerry. Or in this case, Strange. Jerry's my nickname, real life, everybody. I want to be your friend. Do you like cookies?
Yes.
All right, and then save. And then we go ahead and I believe, hold on, check this out, everybody. Up here, I want you to notice this right here. I'm going to see if I can zoom it in real quick. Let's try this. Nope, that ain't going to work. There's got to be a zoom function.
If you hold control and then scroll, that should work.
No, it's zooming in on text, not on what I want. All right.
Oh, sorry.
In the top left here, okay, right in between where it says CS and this thumbnail icon, when you have stuff that is not saved, there will be a star symbol. Okay, and I know I'm spending a lot of time on this saving thing. So notice, save. Now it's gone. That little star symbol up here is gone. If we type or do anything, now it's back. So that's the program saying, hey, silly, you need to save before you do anything. Like, seriously, save. So, and you'll notice too that it's saying over here that it's expecting a semicolon, and that's because we didn't put one here. So let's do the semicolon. That's what that squiggly red line meant. Now, save. Bada bing, bada boom. We go in here. So the first thing it does is it reloads the script. When you click back into Unity after having Visual Studio open, it reloads that script. And that's why sometimes you'll get a moment or two of lag. All right, and so now let's just click, drag, and drop. That worked out beautifully. Let's go ahead and click run. Interesting. Did I do something wrong?
No, it's
Oh, there it is. It's in the console. That's what I did wrong. So let's go ahead. There we go. All right. So all I did to do this, in case you want to do it too, just grab your console, drag it to the right side, like right about here on your thing, and it'll bring your console out on its own. I have a big enough screen that I can do that, and it doesn't impede me at all. So when we're gonna go ahead and hit play again, so you can see it. See, hello, Strange. I want to be your friend. Do you like cookies? See, done. Dunskies. Check that out. All right, for those of you in stream with me live, do you have any questions? No? Okay. And Law, what we'll do is we'll set up a new project, new co-op project for the next stream. Okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, so let's continue with our epic problems. All right, we're going to go ahead and click play. Let's continue.
Okay, welcome back. We make sure we click out of play mode. I'd left ourselves in play mode, and I really hope that you did that challenge. I'm going to ask you to do a challenge in each lecture in this course, and it's super, super important that you jump in and take on these challenges. Okay, so I'm back over in Visual Studio here, and you can see our statement, print hello world. I'm just going to hop in here and change this to hello Rick, and then hit save. Back over into Unity. We don't need to attach it to the main camera again because it's already attached there. If we click on the main camera, you can see Hello World. It's been updated because we've saved it. And then when I click play, you should see Hello Rick down here. And this really was a quick exercise to make sure that our environment is set up correctly. In the next section of the course, Number Wizard will be looking at all the things that we went over very quickly here about the inspector, about the layout in terms of just things like semicolons, why are we doing them? So all of that information we'll be covering in great detail in the next section of the course. But the very next video, Ben's going to be talking about Mac differences. If you're a Mac person, that's a great video to watch. If not, you can skip that video and go on to the next video in the course. Great work, and I'll see you again soon.
All right. So that is the end of today's episode. We have completely, not completely. Let me get to my talk scene here so you're not looking at just weirdness. There we go. So today we have walked you through, and we've walked you through how to get Unity kind of in a better environment than what they're showing in the video. And to show again that what I'm talking about over here, the differences between what you saw in the video and the way we have it set up is, one, you have game as a tab here, so you're having to tab between the two. If you have a screen big enough, you don't need to do it that way. If your screen is smaller, you're going to have to do it that way. But with a big enough screen, just go ahead and grab game, pull it to the side over here, and then resize it to what you want. This allows you to see your scene and kind of what it's going to look like in the game at the same time. The next change that we made was down here, your project and console section. So what we did here is we grabbed our console, drug it out, pulled it to the right side again, resized it to what we wanted. I like doing those two things because it gives me the ability to see what I'm working on and what it's going to do quickly. If I hit play, I don't have to remember to change the tab or do anything. I just see it right away. We ran into that problem. Turns out that it was a compatibility problem. And sometimes you're going to run into that. If you have compatibility problems, the best way to fix them is to download the version that belongs with the project. So in the problem you saw in our video, the way to fix that would be for me to download the 2018 version of Unity instead of using the 2019 version. For further projects, me and Law are going to use the 2019 version, which is the one I have installed now, and that'll fix all of our problems. We are going to go over setting up a team project on the next video. Number generator is the next one that we'll be doing. Number guesser, I believe, is what it's called. Let me double check that. Number wizard. Wow. Number Wizard is the next video. And actually, Number Wizard is a very unique thing for me. Not unique, a very personal thing for me. Because it's something that I use daily in Final Fantasy XI. There's an add-on for Final Fantasy XI that takes that Number Wizard and makes it bigger and more interactive, and it functions with this thing in the game. And what I'm going to do for that specific code, I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to show you guys in game a practical way of using that code. It is more advanced in the game version, but it gives you an idea of some things that you can do with it. I think that's everything, right? We got it to print hello. What is Hello World? Hello World is like the generic stereotype first code. I understand, but we all have to start somewhere. Anything you want to elaborate on, Law?
No. Well, I mean, where you was mentioning like the layout of Unity, like I personally I found that this particular layout works really well for 2D games because obviously 2D is 2D, so you can modify the scene very well in the scene view and see the changes live in the game view. And because it's in 2D, it's so much easier to use with this kind of view where you don't need to have that three-dimensional I don't know, view on things, I guess. I don't know. Like, there's probably different layouts you could use for different different coding types, I guess, like 2D, 3D, you know.
Yeah.
But personally, I found this works really well for 2D.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
Oh,
and on that note too, it's personal preference. So if you like it a different way, then you should set it up the way you like it. But go ahead, Law. You
yeah.
had something
I was just going to say I actually have a challenge for you.
for me. All right, let's hear
Yeah.
it.
So, at the end of that video,
Hmm.
you were challenged to to modify the Hello World script to have it say hello and then your name.
Right.
Now, what my challenge to you is, can you then make it so that instead of just using your name, it uses something you type into the inspector,
Mm.
so like a variable that you can modify on the fly.
Oh, so you want me to do something from the next lesson now?
Oh, is that in the next? Oh, okay.
Yes,
I sh-
that is part of the next lesson because the number wizard is about a program that will guess the number that you think of. So the number wizard in the next video that we do, that'll be we'll be filming that tomorrow at noon Eastern time. But that is, the program will ask you, the user, to to pick a number between 1 and 100. And so you think 75, and then it'll say, okay, now I'm going to figure out what your number is, or I'm going to guess your number. And it's what it does is it uses a progression to figure out your number. So it'll start by guessing, is it 50? You'll say, is it higher or lower than 50? And you'll say, no, it's higher. And then it'll say, okay, is it higher or lower than 75? And so on and so forth. So what it's doing is it's picking the halfway point between the two until it gets your number right. So, and that's why this one is so cool for me, because the one in the video game that I was telling you guys about actually, it actually does that, but it's interacting with the game. So the game is the user, and this is helping you be the program. So it's this program that does kind of the same thing, but in the end, you're the one guessing the number, and the game is the one picking it. It's kind of neat. So, but anyways, to go into that, I actually don't remember what the actual command is to get information from the user. So, but we would say, like, if we were going to do that, so this is our eventual script here. So what we would do, because we would want to concatenate it. So because we're going to do this, and then we would do, if I remember right, you'd do plus, and then it would be a variable. So we would call it, we would just do name, right? We would just do the name or username, but we would need to get that variable. Help me out, Law. What is the command? Not the command, but the piece of code that does that. That gets data from the user. Is it gets chomp?
Okay.
No, gets chomp is Ruby.
No, so are we talking just through the inspector or actually in the game itself?
Not in the game. No. We're talking
In the inspector,
in
yeah.
the code. Yeah. So in the code here.
So right at so above the void start, so within the class but outside of the start function, you want to create a variable called username, a string variable. So a public string username, and
Okay.
that should then just
So it'd be
automatically add to the inspector.
public dot string.
No, just public space string and then
String
space.
Space equals username, right?
No, so, no equals, just username, and then with a semicolon on the end.
So and all that does is it initializes the variable username.
Yes.
So when we say initialize, all that means to the program is that the program now knows that it exists. It doesn't know what's in it because we haven't told it what's in it. So if you were to query this or ask it, so query is to say, hey program, what's inside of username? It would say nil because there's nothing there. It's not zero. It's not going to say nothing. It's not zero. It's going to say nil, which I've always thought was weird. I always wanted it to say something like, hey, you're stupid. There's nothing here. So anyways, and then inside of our void start, that's where we're gonna put the rest of the code, right?
Well, that's literally all you need. Although you do want the plus username to be within the brackets. So print open bracket quote hello space quote plus username quote bracket
Okay.
semicolon.
But that's not gonna get the username from the user, right?
No, so that lets you type it into the inspector, but in terms of actually getting it while the program's running with like a prompt or something, that's something we'll have to create like a UI for within.
Well, no.
Unity
What I mean
itself.
is in the inspector though. Like, okay, hold on. Let's just run. Okay. Let me finish what you had me doing. So it'd be not equals plus username, right?
Yep. And
Like
then
that.
semicolon. Yep.
And then
at the very end.
semicolon on the outside. Now you're saying that this should work, right?
Yep, in the editor, yeah.
Okay, so if we go in here, now it's reloading it. So now you'll notice on the right side, because I like the inspector being open. I love it being open. So now it says print equals hello plus the username. Okay, so if we hit run.
No, so you need to go to camera first.
Okay, so I'm going to camera first.
And then you've got username right at the bottom.
Okay, see that's what I was getting at. So you can, in this case, we would just put username in here, hit run, and now it says hello Jerry. Okay,
yeah, just like that.
But there's another way to do it. You don't need a UI. It can be done through the console, and that's what Number Wizard does. Number Wizard does the number guessing in the console. And actually, this is a good point to show you guys a really basic skill that's really helpful with any programming language. I think it's input value, but we're about to find out. So let's do this. And it's Google. Google is like the best resource in existence. So if we do this, how to get input from the user through the Unity console. There we go. Printing text and getting user input. All right. So this is this person was actually doing the Number Wizard. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, so user input in the user input. Here we go. Where is he getting the user input?
I see. I get it. So it's not
Is it
actually.
this?
Yeah, so there's a function just below called user input. I think the way it works.
The void, yeah. Oh, here we go. Get key down. So this one is it's predefining the user input based on the key press. So it says press 1 for greater than. So in this case, it's this one it's asking them to pick a range. So in this one, it says press 1 for 1 to 100, press 2 for 1 to 1,000, 3 for 1 to 10,000, 4 to 1 to 100,000. Everything else, sorry, couldn't find your range. Please select again. So it's using the get key down. And then down here, so in this case, we want it to get more than just a key press. We want it to get actual text. How to get a string from the user through the Unity console. User string input. Why is this using Java?
This guy's asking how you do it in C#.
Okay. I was like, why is he using Java? What in the world?
It's also invalid Java, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. So string input user console read line if input user equals word 1. Yeah, you got it right. Else not correct.
See,
So I think
yeah,
this is what we would do.
but how do you? Is there any way of typing in the console though? That's the thing.
Well, let's find out. And yes, there is. Should be right here when it's running. And maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. I could be crazy. I've been playing with Ruby too much.
I need to learn that.
Oh, Ruby's it's very like it's interesting because instead of print you have puts instead of user input or something like that you have what it gets.chomp. That's how you get information from the user is gets.chomp. It's kind of weird. So anyways, yeah, this is something we'll have to tackle. I think you might be right, Law. I think you were right and I was wrong. In that I think you do have to actually create a UI for the user to actually put in text. I mean, we can get key presses easily. Like that's what we're gonna do in Number Wizard. But so now that we've completely gone off the rails here, we've skipped ahead a little bit. You got a preview. In this, we initialized a variable. So at the start of the program, it goes through and it's like, this is the public class. So when the camera gets called, it calls this class. And so when we hit play, this runs at the start. So this gets called before the first frame of the game. And then this gets called every frame of the game. So this gets used for a lot of different things. Nothing right now. So don't worry about it. Ew, that's ugly. Let me get rid of that. And then in here, all we're doing is we're taking the username from the camera because the script is attached to the camera. The username from the camera and calling it right here. So we're printing hello username. Yay! We used a variable. We didn't modify it, but we initialized it. So it counts, okay? Counts. Anyways. Again, tomorrow we're doing the Number Wizard. This is a program that guesses the number that you think of. And so what we'll be doing is we'll be having it have a higher or lower or correct function based on a key press. So it'll be monitoring what the user does, and when they press a key, it will either guess a new number or say, yay, I got it right, and then start over. Okay? There's going to be some challenges. The first one, I'm going to, again, give you a little bit of a preview, is that if you set it up without a little bit of a tweak to it, so you tell it to keep doing the half and half and half and half, there are certain numbers that it will never get to. And I want to say that it's 101. Those two numbers it can't get to. And so there's a little bit of math things that we do to make it so that the program can actually get to those two numbers during its guessing process. That being said, tune in tomorrow, or actually before we do that part, is there anything further you want to add, Law?
I don't think so.
Well, in that case, plug yourself. What's your let's talk about your Twitch channel first. What's your Twitch channel?
So my Twitch channel is L4W3S. I go by Laws or Law.
All right, hold on. Let's go ahead and type that in here. So it's twitch.tv/L4W3S.
Should be, yes. I think
All right. So that is our dear friend Law's Twitch channel. Now tell us a little bit about what you do on your Twitch channel.
So I stream games mostly. I have done programming before, but that's a bit more rare because that's a bit more of a niche sort of target audience. But it is mostly games. I'm going to be streaming in about 50 minutes with Streamsmith, actually, doing Halo Combat Evolved Legendary campaign.
Oh, that is epic.
Yeah. we die a lot. We spend about, the missions are only supposed to be like 15-20 minutes long. We spend about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours like each mission. It's good
Now,
fun.
is that a first-person shooter?
Halo, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, Halo had a strategy version. I might have to download and play with you guys. Anyways, continue. So you do video game streaming. You do some development, which is cool.
Yeah.
And do you have a schedule on the page that they can go to, or is there like a normal time that you stream?
Yeah, so I do use the built-in Twitch scheduler, just because it converts to local, like your local time. So like if I say on my stream that I stream from 7 p.m. usually,
Mm-hmm.
local time for me, but I always say at the end, like, if you want to see your local time, just check my Twitch schedule, because it does
Excellent.
that nice little conversion. But yeah, it's usually Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays are like the days that I definitely do stream from 7 till 8 my time. But then there's these things where I do like co-streams, like with Streamsmiths, where it's sort of more ad hoc, as and when kind of thing. So yeah.
Excellent. And then you said
I-
that you're starting a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, so I stream through Restream. So I stream to YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer. But on YouTube and Mixer, I go by Sunbucks. It's my name's changed throughout the many years on the internet. I set up my Twitch ages ago, YouTube and Mixer more recently. But I do eventually intend on like changing my name to Sunbucks across everything, just because that's the one I go by now mainly.
Okay.
But it's the same thing over there with it being Restream. I stream to all three websites simultaneously. But yeah, I do plan on doing some YouTube exclusive series, some programming ones I want to do. I also plan on doing some like let's plays on certain games that are more story focused, maybe not necessarily stream friendly ones with long cutscenes and whatnot. So
Right.
yeah.
All right, that's awesome. So tomorrow at noon Eastern time, 5 o'clock Law's time, we're going to be continuing this series. That it's tentatively titled "So You Want to Be a Game Developer," and so tomorrow we will be doing Number Wizard, a number guessing program, and we'll probably add some extra functions above what our dear friends in Udemy are doing. I do want to go ahead and give a link to that course really quickly. If I can figure out how to do it. I think this is going to be how to do it. Copy link address. Let's go ahead and give this a quick link in there. Course ID. Yes, that's what we want. That is the course ID. That's the course that we're using to assist us in teaching you how to be a Unity game developer. And I think that's it. And do you have anything to add, Law?
Not really. No, just thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Oh, I'm blah, 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 blah. I can have English. I'm glad to have you here, Law. You're a huge help, and I've missed hanging out with you. So tomorrow noon, come back and let's learn some more about how to be a Unity game developer. I will catch you all then. And for now, remember to keep it strange.